Wow, Ethereum is taking off. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Let's talk about this. There are at least 5 reasons Ethereum is taking off. I'm going to talk about exactly those reasons here. Specifically, it's worth noting that right now we've been in sort of the second and a half week now of a very risk-on mentality in the stock market and investments. People right now seem to be desperate and anxious to place money that they have. 3 weeks ago, we were in an entirely different environment where folks were a little bit more nervous and cautious, a little bit more interested in holding that cash. But we've definitely got a little bit more risk on here. That could be one of the reasons why we're seeing Ethereum move. But I'm going to go through 5 specific reasons in just a moment. I do want to take a moment, though, to mention that we've got a lot of stocks here doing very, very well today. Lemonade, Shift, Tattoo, Redfin finally coming back up. But look at Ethereum. All of a sudden, this spike in Ethereum. This morning during the public live stream I mentioned, look at this, folks. We've been channeling here. We're finally at some of the highest levels we've been since May. And I think we're probably going to run to my upper support line. And that's approximately where we are now. You can see I have not moved this line. This line is sitting at 3,764. You can see it in my live streams from prior days or even this morning. That is approximately what we ran to. We briefly ran through it to 3,800 and bounced off of it. This is a very important line, so I'm actually going to strengthen the size of this line a little bit. But this 3764-ish line, this is one that I'm really going to pay attention to, because if we break out above this, I think that could help us push to new highs over 4,000. So I'm really watching this level here. If we stay below it, then we know this is a pretty strong resistance line. And if we end up bouncing off of this resistance line and we push back towards this channel that we had here, this could end up being a buy the dip opportunity before we try to test that resistance line again. So we start here with the technicals. Now I want to hit some of maybe the fundamental reasons why we might be seeing a little bit of a shift here in Ethereum. So first things first, we had our London hard fork upgrade. This limited the supply of Ethereum growth. It's basically a protocol that went into effect, I believe it was August 5th, and it burns a fraction of gas fees every time. So far, I think we've burned like a little over 500 million. Actually, I think it was 555 million that we've already removed dollars worth of Ethereum that we've removed from supply. So you're seeing with this new upgrade, some supply starting to get constrained, but that's not the only thing restraining or constraining supply. You've also got a lot of money getting tied up into smart contracts, so that would potentially be a second reason. Crypto Quant suggests that 6% of Ethereum supply is now locked into Ethereum 2.0 smart contracts worth about $26 billion, which is obviously way more of a supply constraint than the London hard fork, which so far has just burned 555 million. 26 billion being locked up into Ethereum 2.0 contracts. That's a lot. That's supply that can't trade, right? We're also seeing some more money getting removed from wallets and sort of held offline, which sometimes is great because it means people are potentially more interested in hodling. So you've really got some reasons here where you've essentially got this supply constrained leading to this lineup with the marketplace of people having more of a risk-on attitude and now limited supply, more buying power, seeing a little bit of a squeeze in Ethereum. Some other reasons as well, but 1 and 2, London hard fork, smart contract tie-ups, these are big for constraining supply. But we also have this expectation, so this is a third reason. Third reason is the expectation that once we get to staking versus what we're doing now, mining for verifying transactions, we could see supply constrain even more. And this is obviously what Cardano does now. It's a completely proof of stake, much more energy efficient, potential for lower gas fees and that. But I think the market might be pricing in some of those expectations that when we get to staking, maybe that'll constrain supply. A fourth reason that we're seeing this run, in my opinion, is somewhat FOMO-esque. Okay, now that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think we're setting up for a really good 2022 in cryptos. Like, I'm very bullish in cryptos. In fact, I last bought Ethereum. I bought a ton of Cardano at $1, $1.06, $1, right around there. And 2 weeks ago, on August 13th, I made a video saying, gosh, I don't even remember what the title was, but on August 13th, I made a video. I was outside of Starbucks or whatever. I'm like, this is an inflection point for crypto. I'm loading up on Ethereum right now. And that was after Ethereum went from 2,800 to 3,200. People are like, Kevin, no, you're FOMOing in. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I need more Ethereum. So I bought more Ethereum. Obviously, now that looks good, given that it's at 3,700 here. But I'm probably going to wait at this point for bounce off of this pretty strong line here. I haven't had, when we were sitting at that 32 level, I thought this was more of our channel range here. So I was willing to buy the dip here, or sort of buy the fluctuations here, since this wasn't really considered a buy the dip moment here. So I was willing to buy the fluctuations here, but I'm probably going to wait for us to have a bounce off of this to go shopping for a little bit more. But I'm interested. I'm also interested in Redfin. Obviously, looking at Redfin, I'm like, I mean, I've got $1 million in Redfin. Yesterday, I'm like, I should have put more money in yesterday, is what I think today. But anyway, let's get back and stick to Ethereum here. So, okay, reason number one we talked about was the London hard fork supply. Reason number two we talked about was smart contract tie-up, which is huge, 26 billion in smart contract tie-up, right? Then we talked about the pricing in of the restriction of supply when we move over to the staking model, which again, we don't actually expect to be fully staked for Ethereum until 2023, maybe the end of 2022. We'll see. Obviously, FOMO, this risk-on mentality in the market right now. And this is probably the biggest reason. Yeah, you like my shirt? Well, I mean, come on, this is amazing. But thank you. But anyway, this is probably one of the biggest reasons, folks. Number 5, NFTs and DeFi. NFTs and DeFi right now, I think they are a big reason we're seeing this Ethereum run. I think with Ethereum, you have a little bit more trust than you do with, let's say, like the Polygon network, where you had that massive $600 million hack, right? And here with NFTs and DeFi being built on the Ethereum platform, you can really, it's kind of like owning the pickaxe to the gold rush, right? You've got like 200,000 tokens that are built on top of the Ethereum network. JP Morgan's JPM coin is built on the Ethereum network, right? Now, obviously, Ethereum has competition. I think its biggest competition, and this is one of my favorite ones right now, it's my top 3. I haven't bought Bitcoin in a very long time. In fact, I sold Bitcoin on April 12th, somewhere between April 12th and May 12th, because I had set those 2 dates as when I wanted to sell Bitcoin. And I've mostly been moving that money into Cardano and Ethereum on the dips, which has been very, very great. That's been working out wonderfully. Thank you, knock on wood. But Cardano, look, Cardano, in my opinion, really foreshadowed this run in Ethereum, because Cardano and Ethereum, in my opinion, are really seen as alternatives in some cases, not in everything. I don't want to talk down Ethereum, okay? Ethereum's way bigger. But a lot of people are starting to make more and more comparisons between ADA, or Cardano network, and Ethereum. And so when Cardano or ADA ran from $1.06 to $1.30, okay, big deal. It's done that a million times before. I was even buying the dip at 130 because I'm like, this is still a good deal. But then it ran to 160, crossed 250, 280, and that's kind of where we sit now. That all happened before the Ethereum run. And so it somewhat signaled or foreshadowed this Ethereum run. So I would pay attention if I were a crypto trader right now. I would pay attention to Cardano signals for Ethereum potential runs. Like if Cardano now goes to, let's say, $4, personally, I think that's a potential signal for an Ethereum run. Now, I'm still also very, very bullish on Cardano. So I'm probably going to keep my, I'm probably going to revise my sort of investing basket to look a whole lot more like 40% Ethereum, 40% Cardano, 20% Bitcoin. Now, I know Bitcoin maxis are not going to like hearing that. Obviously, Bitcoin maxis, see, Bitcoin is much more pure. But I do think that Cardano and Ethereum have a lot more volatility ahead of them, which volatility is painful sometimes. It can be very stressful, but it could also lead to larger gains. And I think they'll be better by the dip opportunities in Ethereum and in Cardano. I think Bitcoin has had its volatile phase. That's not to say it's not still volatile. Okay, don't get me wrong. But these are some big reasons you've got here in terms of why is Ethereum skyrocketing. We just talked about at least 5 of them. But it's also absolutely worth paying attention to the technicals related to the ADA moves. and how right now we're really bouncing on the 249 line, maybe even a little bit more above that now, like 270-ish, but I haven't drawn lines here yet. So I don't love drawing too many lines because you should see my Bitcoin chart. Although my Bitcoin chart has been pretty good, but there's so many lines. It's crazy. Anyway, sometimes it gets overwhelming. But if we get a breakout here at on Cardano, where we've really bounced almost 3 times now off of this 296 area here, if we finally break above 3, I think that's going to be very, very bullish for Ethereum. So I'm going to wait to see how the Ether move here plays out. I think we're going to bounce off of this. Let me go down to 5 minutes. I mean, right now we're sort of leaking off of it, which is fine. We'll see how this ends up rotating down, how far we go. Are we going to get back down to our 200-day moving average of 3,500? That'll be very interesting. But you can see this very, very clear channel here on the 5-minute chart, really boxed in by 35.60 and 35.20. We get back into that channel, in my opinion, this could be a launch pad for getting back over, or at least testing that resistance again. If I go out to an hour here, you can see the channel a little bit larger. This is a very strong channel, in my opinion. And this is really your 33-esque, 33 over here. Like 3,000 to 33-esque, you might be able to go down to that 29.50 to 33.50, like that $400 channel here. Very, very big, strong channel. So I think we'll either fall down to that 35.50-ish channel, or we'll go into this channel over here. Either way, I think those could be the buy the dip opportunities. Where we get that launch pad and try to launch above that 37.64 number again. Long run, though, that this is more TA, obviously. Long run, though, I'm very, very, very interested in the 5 reasons we talked about here. Again, just to recap: London hard fork, the smart contract supply tie-up, which has been, in my opinion, way more impactful than a London hard fork. But London hard fork has more, well, actually, both of them have the potential to restrain supply going forward, or constrain, whatever. Supply expectations when we switch to staking, which again, not really expecting this, probably not until 2023. FOMO, risk on attitudes, NFTs and DeFi. It's also worth looking at trends here. And so I am, just to be very clear and transparent, I'm not going to buy where it is now. I'm waiting for that drop down. But look at just, if you type in just NFT into Google search trends, we have this very, very clear cycle here. Very, very clear cycle. And, we had a pause here. We had a pause while crypto prices were in pain. And now that crypto prices are back in vogue, NFTs are taking off again. People are buying, excuse me, and people are getting news coverage for buying a rock with Ethereum, right? That's big. Hold on, I got to drink a little bit of Don't Sue Me Bro coffee. Cheers. Okay, good. So, anyway. So, this is another cycle, another pump cycle here, right? Of course, you should always expect that when there's an up cycle, there'll be a down cycle again. But I think we're really seeing a nice move here. Let's do search trends here on Ether, or I'll just go full Ethereum here. That's probably better. Ethereum, that's fascinating. You're actually not getting the Google search traffic that you are for Ethereum as you are NFTs in terms of a fluctuation. See, look at that. You have this crossover here where people right now are actually more interested in NFTs than they are in Ethereum. But a search for NFT at this point is basically a search for Ethereum, right? And you got crap tons of fees at Ethereum, which I personally dislike. Like, I've, transacted NFTs before with Ethereum in my MetaMask. And it's slow. If you want to pay for faster processing, it's expensive, it's clunky. There's still a lot of work to be done, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. It is earth-shattering technology. I'm very excited about it. Personally, not very excited about NFTs. I'm sorry if you are. I would rather have the shovel and the pickaxe, so to speak, which would be the coin, Ethereum, and also very excited about Cardano. But these are sort of my thoughts right now around Ethereum, this movement that we're seeing. I am hoping for and somewhat expecting a bounce off of this line. If we break this line, I think we could quickly reach all-time new highs, and I think that's when you could potentially really see FOMO set in, which is always a problem because once FOMO sets in, then you can go vertical like this, right? And this is what we had last time. You just basically fly through your lines. The fact that we did not fly through right here, I think is very good. I think that's healthy. I would rather see a bounce down and see this slowly just trend up. But again, this is a very risk-on day. So you've got to keep that in mind too. You can't just look at Ethereum. In my opinion, you've got to look at the alternate available investment opportunities. And you see the volatility index is down 4.6%. You've got interest rates not expected to go up anytime soon. The 10-year treasury stuck at like 1.3. It's not really moving anywhere. The other investment opportunities that are bouncing off the floor are now look potentially a little bit more expensive. Also worth noting, though, that Doge, my 10 pieces of Doge, but anyway, this is funny. Yeah, I did a video with this. I have 10 Doge coins. It's like $2.80 on Webull. We were testing how to buy crypto on Webull. But anyway, because I don't own Doge other than the $2 or $3 that we have here. And I think there might be $5 in Robinhood too, because we were testing the price comparison. But anyway, it is interesting. It looked like at least there was a little bit of there's a little bit of a Doge push happening here. Doge really lagging though, both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. And it does make you wonder if you're seeing this fork in Dogecoin's price appreciation versus the other ones because of potentially concerns over utility. Is Doge going to have the same form of utility as the other coins? Maybe not. Certainly, I mean, I would almost venture to say that at this point, Bitcoin has more utility than Doge. So that could be a risk factor holding Doge back a bit, but it's also entirely possible that Doge just ends up playing catch up later. And maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit of that movement right now. It's possible. So yes, the Ethereum gas fees are unattractive. I see your comment. I agree with you. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. Still fluctuating around that 37.20 line. This is going to be something I watch very, very closely. In the meantime, I appreciate you watching this. If you want to get life insurance or any kind of insurance with Lemonade, which is a stock I also heavily invest in, I got like 800 grand in them. So I will be fully transparent with you. I am giving you an affiliate link for a company I own a part of. Go to metkevin.com/lemonade and get yourself pet insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, and soon car insurance. Folks, when they get that car insurance announced, that's going to be a big stock catalyst, in my opinion. If you lose money, that's not my problem. I just think that. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the next Geico, and Warren Buffett was in Geico, and oh my gosh, he made so much money. Sorry, this is a video about Ethereum. I'm sorry I did that. I'm going to go now. Goodbye. If you like this